historic Crocker Field in Fitchburg as FATV presents coverage of the 141st meeting of the rivalry. And again, what a way to kick off the season. It's Fitchburg and Leominster to begin the 2022 high school football season. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daniel Bolak. Happy to have you along with us here today on a crisp, cool Thursday night. John Grugerty will be here in time. Joining me on the broadcast tonight is Bob Catalini. Happy to have you along.
Thanks, Diesel. I appreciate it greatly. It's wonderful to be here on a beautiful evening in early September. The field looks marvelous. Nice little crowd coming in. Fitchburg band is doing its thing. It's awesome to be here tonight.
Yep, last year it was very drizzly, very rainy at Doyle Field.
Okay.
En route to a Fitchburg win in the kickoff. Meanwhile, this year at Crocker Field, it's much nicer weather. You see the Raiders taking the field for the first time this season. You see the visiting Blue Devils in the road white uniforms. The Raiders last season 6-4. They were the number 12 seed in the Division III playoffs. Leominster 4-7 came 29th in the Division II power ratings. For the Red Raiders, we know that on the Blue Devil side, we know Brian Aguilar is probably going to be leading the receiving corps for Leominster. He brings back a lot of experience for the Blue Devils, along with Ricky Encarnacion. And Makai Newton in the backfield, a strong contender for one of the best players in this game dynamically on the ground from Leominster. But Fitchburg may have the advantage at quarterback with the junior and Luke Bolak.
Hey, you know, the last time I was here and the last time these teams played was right here at Crocker Field on Thanksgiving.
It was.
Although Fitchburg did go on and play in the playoffs after that, correct?
Before that, they lost.
Before that, okay.
Because we have the new systems now.
Right, okay.
But yes, Luke Bolak expected to be the starting quarterback for the Red Raiders after playing tremendously as a sophomore. We see he's one of the captains coming to midfield, along with Antonio Santiago, Joshua Medina, and Johnny L. Silvestri for the Red Raiders. For the Blue Devils, you see Ricky Encarnacion, you see Makai Newton, and a couple other players joining them, just obscured enough that it's hard for me to see their numbers, but I can tell you one of them is John Escabi, number 56.
Boy, Fitchburg has a big roster. A lot of kids here. They're probably, their JV team as well, but it's a big, big roster. Leominster has good numbers as well.
69 players for Fitchburg, a nicely sized roster, 23 seniors. And for Leominster, 51 players on the varsity roster, 19 seniors. And for Fitchburg, they're going to be looking for some stepping up from their depth, as after all, they've only got a handful of players returning who actually recorded statistics last season. We know Luke Bolak was the starting quarterback as the season went on. Tyler Broussard also brings experience to the quarterback position. But in terms of the running game, Devani DeLeon is really the only player they bring back with experience running the ball on the ground, and Josh Medina, the only one with receiving experience for the Red Raiders. You look at Leominster, we mentioned Ricky Encarnacion, who was a big impact player during the two meetings in the Fitchburg-Leominster rivalry last season. Makai Newton has the ability to run, had 3 rushing touchdowns last season. You see the teams coming together at midfield. Yeah,
the kids are excited, and rightfully so. They started their season probably in mid-August. The starting date seems to get pushed back, and it's earlier and earlier. So they've been at it for 3 or 4 weeks. They're ready to roll. They're ready to rock and roll here.
Indeed they are. We're going to take a pause for the national anthem, and kickoff will be next here on FATV. Just moments away from kickoff in the 141st meeting of the rivalry, the Red Raiders of Fitchburg High School and the Blue Devils of Leominster High School. Daniel Bolak and Bob Catalini with you, and we bring in John Gugerty. Happy to have you along board tonight as well.
Just barely made it. Good to meet you, Bob.
Crazy. I hope you didn't get a ticket, John.
Nope. As far as anyone knows, totally legal. Speed limit 65 on the pike. I did 65, as far as anyone knows.
So just moments away again, as we know, for Fitchburg. Going to be looking for a lot of players to step up this season. They graduated a lot of great skill players, such as Anthony Aquendo, such as Colin Dudek, such as Sam Faulkner on the line. And the Red Raiders will be working hard to try to replace them. As for Leominster, they do bring back a little bit more experience. This is going to be a very interesting game, and we're going to see who can step up as the crowd continues to file in here at historic Crocker Field.
Going to be a very interesting game, and I remember the last time we were here at Crocker Field back on Thanksgiving, I said it was one of the more disappointing efforts we had seen from the Raiders. We'll see how they come back after having the summer.
Yeah, you know, I think having played early in the season last September and then have to play Leominster again on Thanksgiving, I think Leominster definitely had a psychological edge last year.
Yeah, there was just so much drama with Aquendo. Was he
Right.
going to play? Was he not going to play?
That was a tough one with him. That was really a tough one.
Shea Gagnor will be kicking away for the Raiders. Looks like Brian Aguiar and Ricky Encarnacion set back deep to return for Leominster. Blue Devils, as you can see, in the all-white. Red Raiders in the brick and pewter. That's what we're calling it, right? Brick and pewter?
You bet.
Gagnor's kick, is it onside or picked up by the Blue Devils at about their own 49-yard line? Tried to catch Leominster napping, but Tony Salvatelli was right on top of it.
Aggressive move early on.
Leominster's going to start their season with great field position, Bob.
Yeah, they are. I'm sure they're happy with that. But nice aggressive move by the Red Raiders.
Just trying to catch them off guard, and we've seen it work on the Fitchburg State side, just didn't work here for the Red Raiders.
1st and 10 Blue Devils at their own 49-yard line. Out of the shotgun. High snap, but pulled in. Quick pass to the near side is complete to Encarnacion. Got some decent blocking, turns the corner into Raider territory. Thought he stepped out early, but he's brought down at about the 33-yard line. It'll be a good completion to him out of the arm of freshman quarterback Osiris Lopez.
Yep, that's something very interesting that Leominster's going with. With the graduation of Caden Constant, they needed a new quarterback. Osiris Lopez, a freshman, standing 6 feet tall, 175 pounds, is going to take charge for the Blue Devils.
And you saw there on the replay, Encarnacion did a good job keeping his feet inbounds, kind of tiptoed down the sideline, got a lot of yards after the catch. 1st and 10 Blue Devils run to the far side right, cuts back up the middle, great blocking in front of him to the 20-15-10. He is in. Touchdown, Mackay Newton. Mackay Newton, the senior running back, with a 33-yard touchdown scamper. Less than a minute into the game, gentlemen. Leominster leads this one 6-0.
You know, I was told by one of the administrators that it was going to be a high-scoring game, and we may see that. Really nifty run.
You saying we may be in for a track meet, sir? I could go for a track meet. Dan, could you go for a track meet?
If I've got the strength to do it.
Pay no attention to how winded I was after hurrying up the stairs when I say I could totally go for a track meet. Daniel Thompson's extra point is up and through. We are 40 seconds in. If you're just joining us, you've missed a touchdown already. Leominster 7 and the Red Raiders nothing.
Just took 2 plays in 40 seconds for the Blue Devils to find pay dirt, and you can see Mackay Newton brings back a lot of experience at the running back position, just making those cuts and making his way. Going to try to do his best Anthony Aquendo impression here in Fitchburg.
Give it to number 2 and see what happens. If it turns out to be twice as good as when Fitchburg gave it to number 1 and saw what happened, twice as good as Anthony Oquendo is like the best high school football player ever, right?
Yeah, that would be a challenge.
That would be something.
One of the interesting things, on Thanksgiving, it's the Raiders clad in red and the Blue Devils clad in blue. But I've noticed for the Kickoff Classics, it was the same thing last year. The visiting team wears their white uniforms.
I like it. It's a little bit of a differentiation. Obviously, I like these Kickoff Classics just as a concept, but have the home and away uniforms. Make it feel different from Thanksgiving. It gives these Kickoff Classics their own feel, and it keeps the feel of Thanksgiving at the same time. Thompson will kick off for the Blue Devils. They will not try the onside gambit. They'll kick it deep, rolling at about the 14-yard line and picking it up there up the right side. That's Josh Medina for the Red Raiders, still on his feet into Blue Devil territory, 40, 30, and finally knocked out of bounds by Steven Diaz. Bob, what were you saying about it?
This could indeed be a high-scoring event. Danny, I hope you took the over.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Officially, they're going to spot him at the Leominster 33-yard line. So for number 3, it's a big return. Take another look at this one, Bob.
Yeah. Josh Medina just brings a lot of experience in the kick return game, and that does show there. Again, just finding the roots, finds the space and time, gets big yardage.
Great balance.
46-yard kickoff return for Medina, and the Raiders just have a third of the field to transverse.
Now we see the Red Raider offense first time this season. Lucas Bolak goes play action. His pass to the near side is incomplete. A little too high, intended for the senior tight end Harvey Early.
Yeah, I'm sure Lukey's a little, Cool Hand Luke's a little wound up. He let that one fly high. That's not normal. That's not a big deal.
Now, Dan, if I remember our conversation correctly, you did some research over the offseason, and there is a relation there.
He is my fourth cousin.
Fourth cousin, okay. So old cousin Luke here on shotgun.
However, Danny's staying perfectly neutral tonight, right, Dan?
Second down 10 for the Raiders. Handoff goes up the middle to Devani DeLeon. Tries to bounce to the outside, but not much there. Wrapped up by a couple of Blue Devils. Credit Mackay Newton once again, along with Logan Arce on the tackle. Red Raiders are going no huddle here on 3rd down and 7. They're at the 30. They need the 23. Play fake. Bolak rolls to his right. Throws. This pass is caught by Early. He's going to be dragged down at about the 23-yard line by Braden Martin.
It's close.
It'll be 4th down and about, very close.
Yeah.
I think they might bring in the sticks. No, they're going to
move them. Yep.
So that's a first down for Fitchburg, and they're right back up to the line. Red Raiders trying to push the pace. Handoff to DeLeon, tries to bounce to the outside, can't get away. Ball is loose, and the officials say he was down. Ooh, a huge break for the Red Raiders. Jared Viola had open field in front of him. Was gonna be a scoop and 6 for the Blue Devils. They rule the runner down. Take a look at it again. Ooh, that's tough.
Close.
That's tough. We're going to run it back, see if we can get a better look. Actually, the Red Raiders are up to the line again.
They're going to be running high-tempo offense, I think, to try to keep the Blue Devils off guard.
Absolutely.
So officially, it's a run of no gain. Now 2nd down and 10. Handoff goes to DeLeon again, and he is met at the line once again, this time by Delmar Wright.
He makes sure to tuck that ball in this time.
Wright's one of the bigger fellas on the field, listed 6 foot even, 225. He's able to wrap up DeLeon immediately. 3rd and about 8 now for the Raiders. Bolak immediately under pressure, gets away, rolls to his right, cuts back. He's across the 15, and he's going to be dragged down just outside the 13-yard line. Once again, very close to a first down.
It's like 4th and 1.
I think he might have this marker, but they may, I think, stop to measure here. And that's one of the big dynamics that Luke Bolak can bring to the table. He's very good at scrambling and running for yardage if need be. It's going to be very, very close. By the way, the length of a football is 11 inches.
Good to know. Had that come up when we were at Elliott Field last week. Of course, tomorrow we'll be at our 3rd field in 8 days. as we head to Monty Tech for their season opener.
Okay, just short.
Red Raiders are, in fact, about the length of a football, shy of a first down. Danny, are those new sticks? I don't remember the fancy logo F on the sticks. That's new, right?
I don't recall that either. I think they are brand new sticks. But yeah, it's not very much to gain. 4th and it is definitely inches. And I don't disagree with Chris Woods. It is, I think, less than a foot.
Absolutely. Definitely less than a foot. Probably single digits on the inches. I'm a little surprised the Raiders are going gun here. Why not just under center QB sneak it? But we'll see what they do.
Depends if that's actually in the playbook, if that's what they've practiced.
4th down, the Raiders need the length of the football, if that. Confusion, Bolak keeps it himself. He's got the first down,
Sure.
Not much more than that, but he does get enough to move the chains. The question is it going to be 1st and goal just inside the 10 or 1st and 10 just outside?
It's right on the 10.
They've dropped to the sticks. It'll be 1st and goal for Fitchburg. Ball spotted right on the Leominster 10-yard line.
Yep, and that was an option play, looking to give it to Dakota Wells. And then at the very last moment, maybe even after the last moment, it seemed like he ripped it out of Wells' hands and ran for it himself and got the 4 yards to set up a 1st and goal. 10 yards from goal, the Red Raiders trying to equalize the score.
Devani DeLeon back in the backfield. He sets up to the right of Lucas Bolak. 1st and goal Raiders at the Leominster 10. Bolak will keep it himself. Tries to find a hole up the middle, not much there. He is met and driven back by Xavier Cora, sophomore. Gain of maybe a yard. We'll call it 2nd and goal from the 9.
And that was well read there by Cora, getting around the line and wrapping Bolak up from behind and able to pull him back and prevent him from gaining any yardage. We're 4 minutes gone into the 141st meeting of the rivalry. The Blue Devils lead 7-0.
2nd down and goal coming up for Fitchburg. DeLeon once again to Bolak's left. 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. Bolak takes the snap, rolls to his left, got a man open. He chucks it for the corner of the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Raiders! Josh Medina, whose excellent kickoff return started the drive, ends the drive with a 9-yard touchdown reception. Fitchburg is an extra point away from tying this up, Bob.
Yeah, that's a really athletic play by Bolak. Rolling left and throwing back against the grain. That's a really athletic play.
And with his ability to roll out, he's able to buy himself the time that he needs to get Medina in position on the back corner of the end zone. Just finding the time, gets the ball off, perfectly delivered to the senior receiver in Josh Medina.
There was only one man who could have caught it, and it was his target. Now Shea Gagnor will come on to attempt the extra point out of a hold from Doharian Wells. Good snap, hold is down, kick is low. I don't know if that got deflected or if it was just short, but the extra point is no good.
I think he miskicked it. It looked to me like he hit the top of the ball.
So trouble for the Raiders in the kicking game early on, Bob. We saw them go with that onside kick on the opening kickoff, and now they can't hit this extra point. Let's see if this one was blocked. I think it just came off his foot pad.
Yeah. He just miskicked it. You know, early on the kids are going to be a little nervous, a little shaky. You saw Luke overthrow his first pass, and then he bounced back with a couple of receptions.
Might have gotten a deflection. We're taking another look at the replay again. It might have gotten a deflection. It's very hard to tell, but
I don't think he planted his foot where he wanted to either. I think he's got an awkward stance as he's trying to deliver the kick from his foot. And that's one of the challenges for the Red Raiders. You know, Alexander McCloskey was the kicker the last 2 years. He's graduated. And so what do they have for a kicking game? And they only had one player listed on the roster as a kicker, and Emmanuel Yule, but a freshman, and they felt that Gagnor has the better leg. But obviously a bit of a challenge if they don't have a consistent leg to kick off.
Now we're 4.5 minutes in, and it's 7-6, and our timer tonight is the iconic Kenny O'Connell on the clock. Tremendous job so far, Kenny, the first 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
There you see Aguiar and Encarnacion. They're set up just inside their own 20. Not really respecting the deep leg of Gagnor at all. Blue Devils have plenty of guys up in case Fitchburg tries to kick an onside again. Aguiar backs up, takes this one at about his own 15-yard line, looks for a block. He's got one. Oh, but he is dragged down just as he was burst into the open field. Just as he was going to, rather. Looks like the tackle was made there by Joshua Nardi.
Yeah. Nice open field tackle.
And there was a big hole forming for him, Bob. That could have gone very badly for the Raiders if Nardi didn't make that hit.
Absolutely.
That last drive, by the way, 9 plays, 33 yards in 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Let's see if the Raider defense can stiffen up here.
It took Leominster only 2 plays to score on their last possession. They did have better field position to start. They started at their own 49. This time they're about 15 yards back, setting up at their own 34-yard line. Blue Devils go shotgun, 3 receivers here on first down. Back to pass. Pass to the right side is caught by Encarnacion, but he is thrown backward pretty much immediately. Janiel Silvestri with the hit for Fitchburg. It's a gain of about 4 for the Blue Devils.
And I know Janiel Silvestri is one of those veteran players that the Raiders are going to be relying on this year, the senior wide receiver and defensive back, able to wrap up Encarnacion and throw him back. Just 4 yards gained for the Blue Devils on first down.
Osiris Lopez, the quarterback for the Blue Devils, calling signals here. 2nd down and 6 for Leominster. Takes the shotgun snap, hands it off to Mekhi Newton running to his right. He's into the second level across the 40 into Red Raider territory. Spins out of a tackle but is driven out of bounds by Stephen Bate. A great run there by the senior Mekhi Newton. Gets the Blue Devils into Red Raider territory, gives them a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, Fitchburg needs to tighten up, no question.
Yeah, if Mekhi Newton is going to be putting on moves like that, the Raiders are going to be in trouble. Newton, 2 runs, and he's looked tremendous doing it.
Antonio Santiago thought he had him dead to rights, but it was one quick jump to the left that broke Newton into that second level, gave him plenty of yards after contact. Now it's 1st and 10 Blue Devils at about the Fitchburg 43. Just over 6.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter, and we're going to stop the clock as there is a Red Raider down. It is the aforementioned Mr. Santiago. Bob, we actually saw on that last run by Mekhi Newton, he wound up running through the right arm of Antonio Santiago, and it is that right arm that Santiago's holding now.
Yeah, he may have hyperextended his elbow trying to make that play. Not unusual, on an arm tackle especially.
Looks like Gagnor is going to come in and try to replace him at that position. Already a lot of action in this contest. We're not even halfway through the first quarter.
All right, so here we go again. 1st and 10 Leominster at the Fitchburg 43. Lopez takes the shotgun snap. Straight drop, throws over the middle, passes high, but caught by Ricky Encarnacion. He's across the 15 before he's spun down. Stephen Bate with the tackle once again, but the Blue Devils are on the move.
That was a classic throw by Lopez. Whoa, he looks really, really good and poised for a freshman and talented kid.
Bit of a high snap, but he was able to bring it down.
Yep.
And he found Encarnacion. Got the first down.
Blue Devils have been finding a lot of success already in their plays. They've already got over 100 yards of offense tonight.
Newton in the backfield, 3 receivers and a tight end. It's Mekhi Newton, the ball carrier on first down. Bounces to the outside, looks for a hole, and he's pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 4. That will call it the Fitchburg 9-yard line.
Yeah, shifty runner, good balance.
It's one of the less successful runs for Newton thus far.
I imagine that absolutely nuked his average.
He's only averaging 20 2/3 now.
Bob, is that good?
That is pretty good.
Okay, I thought that was good.
That's Hall of Fame material.
See if he can keep it up for the whole game.
2nd down, and they call it 5 for the Blue Devils. Encarnacion takes it on the jet sweep, actually. He cuts across to the 5-yard line, dives across the goal line. He is in. Touchdown, Leominster. Ricky Encarnacion from 10 yards out gets the touchdown carry.
Yes, some really well-designed plays for Leominster, man. I'll tell you, Fitchburg needs to tighten up.
I guess some question marks on defense thus far, as Leominster has had very little resistance.
Question marks on defense for both sides. You know, we've seen each of these offenses able to march up and down the field pretty much at will. Now Daniel Thompson will come on to attempt his second extra point of the game. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up and through. We are half a quarter and 13 seconds through this one. Leominster leads 14-6.
While we have a moment, we want to thank our underwriters who help make all of our FATV remote productions possible. They are Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, UMass Memorial Health, Health Alliance, Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Minuteman Press, and the Sentinel and Enterprise.
Thank you very much to them. We also want to let you folks know, of course, that you can watch FATV's programming anywhere in the world, be it on FATV.org, the FATV app, or on your Apple TV, Fire TV, or Roku streaming devices. All of those, of course, in beautiful high definition.
Yeah, no reason to miss. I know a friend of mine in Florida is watching the game. He's very interested. He's the godfather to Lukey Bolak's father, DJ Bolak. So he has a vested interest in the game.
Absolutely. We've had folks come from, I think there was someone from Virginia at the last Falcon game we did last week, Dan.
If you can't forget, we had people, for a playoff game last year, an ice hockey game from Minnesota and Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Anywhere you get the internet, you can get FATV. And if you can't get the internet there, what are you doing there, honestly? Thompson's kick is short. It'll bounce at the 20, picked up on a hop there. Looking for blocks up the middle and going to be dragged down at the 40-yard line.
Good field position once again.
Pretty good field position there after the return by Doherty and Wells, but you can see there, Wells is hobbling off the field, not putting much weight at all on that right leg, and finally Derek Lulumaki will help him to the Raider sideline.
That last drive for Leominster, 5 plays, 66 yards, and it only took 1:48 seconds.
And that was their longer of their 2 touchdown drives.
Leominster up to 117 yards of offense.
Are they up to 2 minutes of possession?
Yeah, 2 minutes and 28 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, this new software is working well for me.
It looks pretty neat. First and 10 Raiders, handoff goes to DeLeon, looking for a hole to his left side. Not much doing there, and Bob, for all of the success Fitchburg has had moving the ball, it's been those first down handoffs that really just haven't been doing it for them. They've been falling into second, third, and long.
No, they have to figure that out.
Yeah, handing off to the running back is not giving them enough time to open up the holes. It's when Bolak's been scrambling that they've looked a little better.
Now play action on second down, pass to the near side is intercepted. Ricky Encarnacion makes the diving pick. It was intended for Harvey early. Bolak was under a lot of pressure. I believe it came from Delmar Wright.
Yeah, he threw it up for grabs. In those situations, you're best off to just eat the ball and take the loss. Tough play.
Was under pressure, didn't get as much. Now, we'll see just the end of the play here, Encarnacion. I kind of thought, watching it from my position here in the press box, and guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like there was more that Early could have done to fight for that ball, right? He kind of saw that it was going to be short, and he just kind of stood there expecting it to fall incomplete, and then Encarnacion comes in, makes the diving interception.
Yeah, that's right. Finish the play.
But I think he didn't even expect someone like Encarnacion to sweep in there with the dive to take it away.
Makai Newton to carry for Leominster on first down as they look to answer. He's into Fitchburg territory, bounced forward. He's finally going to be tackled at about the 18-yard line. Leominster coaches here in the press box are encouraging the offense to move at a quick tempo, saying that the Raiders only have 10 players on the field.
Newton now up to 89 yards on the ground with that 27-yard run. Yeah, that'll bring up the average a little more.
7, 8. I only count 9 gray hats right now.
Yeah, they're a little disorganized.
No, they're up to 11 now. They just sent a couple guys out. But still, Leominster with the ball and the momentum. First and 10. Now the snap's over Lopez's head, rolling backwards to the 40-yard line. Can he get rid of this? Pass is complete to the far side, rather. Encarnacion's got it. He's going to be driven out of bounds at the 30-yard line for about a 12-yard loss.
That could have been much worse. Lopez got a great bounce and then rifled an effective pass. So they still have a shot here.
On the one hand, it's a great job by Lopez to recover from the high snap, track down that ball. But also, if you're Ricky Encarnacion in that situation, are you coached? Do you have the awareness to be able to say, I'm so far behind the line of scrimmage, it's better to just knock it down? Or is that asking too much?
Well, I think as a player, you catch the ball and try to make the best of it. So I like what he did.
All right.
It's a completion for minus 13 yards.
Sets up second down and about 23 now. Leominster needs to get to the 8-yard line to move the chains. Lopez with all day to throw and green grass in front of him. He's going to take off running. He's across the 15 before there's even a Red Raider jersey in sight. Excuse me, he was across the 20. He's going to be marked out at the 17-yard line. It's a gain of about 10 yards for the Leominster quarterback, and that was wide open for him.
Yeah, Lopez is very poised, very in control, very impressive young man.
First charge timeout, Fitchburg.
Red Raiders will take their first timeout of the half, try to slow down this Leominster offense a little bit. They're about to face 3rd down and 9, as we have just under 3.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter of action. And again, folks, if you are just joining us, you've missed some football.
Yeah, that's for sure. Fitchburg trying to get organized and figure out what they need to do defensively against Leominster. Leominster has just had their way.
You've got to find ways to get stops right now, because right now the Leominster offense is outclassing the Red Raider defense.
100%.
And I've got to think, guys, for this 3rd down stop, if the Raiders can't get it, it would be very demoralizing for them as a defense, considering that 1st down play, Leominster basically gives you a free 15-yard loss.
Right.
If they still manage to convert a 1st down off of that, that's got to sting.
I think Leominster views this 3rd and 9. I think they view this as a 2-down situation. They're going to try to get the 9 yards or more in 2 downs.
Lost 13 on the first play, got 14 back on the second play. You can see that Baden Boone on the rise here in Fitchburg. First time that Leominster has faced 3rd down tonight.
Is it a bad moon for the Fitchburg defense? An ominous sign, perhaps? We will find out. 3rd down and 9. Encarnacion comes in motion. High snap. They fake the jet sweep. Lopez rolls to his right. Signals to a man looking to throw. Cross his body over the middle. Pass is caught. It's going to be a 1st down, but not a touchdown. Brian Aguiar makes the catch. He's brought down inside the 5 at about the 2-yard line. But it is another 1st down for these Blue Devils.
Blue Devils are on a roll.
Lopez just has all day to throw, and you see the poise there that you've been talking about, Bob. He was able to wait there, let the play develop, finally find the open man in Brian Aguiar.
And his accuracy, Lopez is extremely accurate. I don't know as if he has an incompletion yet, Dan.
5 for 5 for 47 yards.
Another high snap here on 1st and goal. Handoff winds up going to Newton, trying to plunge through the hole, and he is in. Touchdown, Blue Devils. Makai Newton with another one on the 2-yard run. And Leominster extends the lead. It's now 20-6.
Makai Newton will gladly take a large hit to his rushing average to put 6 points on the board. And you can see just using his body, 5'9", 190, pushing forward as much as he can, resisting the Raider defense and making his way across the goal line for 6.
The yards per carry went down, but the points per carry went up, and that's what matters. Thompson's extra point attempt is up. It is good, so 21-6 is the score now.
Well, that prediction about this being a high-scoring affair is spot on up to this point, that's for sure.
So far, Fitchburg's defense has had absolutely no answer for the Leominster offense. And the only answer that Leominster's defense has had for Fitchburg's, Bob, is hope that Fitchburg turns it over.
And they have done that, yes.
Both of these teams have been able to move the ball up and down the field. They've also looked very threatening in the kickoff return game. The score is possible at any moment. Makes for an exciting time to be a broadcaster.
There's that full moon rising.
It's a very beautiful night here in Fitchburg.
Historic Crocker Field. A wonderful place to see a game.
And it's looking to be in pretty good shape. You know, this field is in, you know, we've talked a lot about Crocker Field, but it is in really good condition right now.
My understanding is that you may see a turf field here next season.
That's the rumor.
Yep.
I've attended the Conservation Commission meetings about it. It's definitely something that is in the works.
Thompson's kick bounces and taken in at about the 15-yard line. Spins out of one tackle, but finally brought down at the 26-yard line. That was not Doharian Wells. He was injured earlier and has not returned to the game.
It's Dakota Wells who took the carry.
So this is the most challenging field position to start a drive yet this evening.
For either side.
Yes, yes.
Bolak will lead the Red Raider offense back out onto the field. You've got to feel like they're under a bit of extra pressure now to get points on the board on this drive, just to keep it within shouting distance.
Absolutely.
Early goes in motion, but the handoff goes straight up the middle. I believe it's DeLeon, the ball carrier again.
DeLeon is getting that 3 yards in a cloud of dust. The Raiders, I know, they would like to get more yards out of a run, especially on first down.
Now Bolak has trouble with the snap. He ultimately sits on the ball. Leominster's had a lot of high snaps. That one was pretty low, Bob, but Lucas Bolak did a good job just recovering the ball.
Yeah, nice athletic play. Take the loss and move on. 3rd and 14 now. They obviously, I would say they're going to throw.
Bolak gets the play from his head coach, Greg Graham. Graham's in his 3rd season as the head coach in Fitchburg. Comes in with a 10-5 record overall. Third down and 12 for the Raiders. Medina comes in motion. He'll set up as the left side tight end. Now DeLeon goes in motion to the far side. Bolak looks to his right. He's under pressure, rolling right, going to keep it himself. He's across the 25-30, gets a block. He's got the first down, and he finally slides down at about the 44-yard line. Lucas Bolak, Dan, your 4th cousin, with a big first down.
Cool hand Luke.
Yep, and you know, he had a little bit of time, but you could see the line break up 2 Blue Devils going after him. There's a clear point in which he knows he has to run for it, and there's a lot of grass to run in front. Not the greatest of slides in the end, but it gets 20 yards and a first down.
Showed some speed.
And he was sprung, Bob, by that big block from Josh Medina that got him the first down. Early goes in motion on first down, and up to DeLeon, 3 yards and a cloud of dust.
He's consistent.
They like that particular play every first down. That's pretty much automatic.
If it's 3 yards and a cloud of dust, it's fine. If it's 1 or 2 yards and a cloud of dust, you got a problem.
You need 3.3. 3.3 works.
You got 4 downs. 4 times 3
that's true. That's true.
2nd down and 7 for Fitchburg. Probably the last play of the first quarter about to happen. It's a handoff to DeLeon, and that's the problem. If you try for 3 yards and a cloud of dust, sometimes Giovanni Roman breaks into the backfield and says, acknowledge me, buddy. You're going to get driven back, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
And that's going to end the first quarter, so I guess we'll turn around and go. The kids will take a quick break.
That is the end of the first
Get
quarter.
back at it.
Danny, you knew I had to sneak in a wrestling reference when I was on play-by-play.
Of course.
It's not as impressive if I'm the color guy and I can just pick my spots. No.
So 1 quarter time at historic Crocker Field, 21 for the Blue Devils and 6 for the Red Raiders. For Leominster, they've got 162 yards of offense on 12 plays. That's 13.5 yards per play.
Bob, is that good?
That is very good.
Okay. You're my go-to is that good guy.
I mean, my math is pretty good. 13 yards a play we'll take.
Meanwhile, the Red Raiders 54 yards on 16 plays, and Luke Bolak has 26 on the ground. DeLeon 7 rushes for 11 yards, and the long is 3 yards.
So, Bob, as we head into the second quarter of action, Leominster leads 21-6. If you're Fitchburg, what do you need to do to kind of keep this game close? How do you stay in this game if you're the Red Raiders?
You know, I mean, I think long, time-consuming drives are a really big plus here. Keep Leominster off the field, and then once Fitchburg gets back on the field defensively, they have to figure this out. The coaching staff has to figure it out, put the kids in a position to make plays.
We are ready for the second quarter of action here at historic Crocker Field, and with the play-by-play is Danny Bolak.
And Bolak with the option keeps it himself, going up the middle, wrapped up by 3-4 Blue Devils. He's going to get to the 48-yard line on his own side of the field, but that's going to bring up fourth down and still quite a bit to go.
Interesting decision if you're the Raiders here. We've talked about the importance of keeping the ball, getting points on the board if you're the offense. They're going to keep the offense on the field here, Bob.
4th and 6. Oh.
If you punt the ball back to Leominster, it could be 28-6 in a minute.
And now the question is, we don't even know what Fitchburg's got for a punting game.
That's also true.
Correct.
We've seen their kicking game.
And so Bolak's going to try to keep it himself, try to stay on his feet, try to get as much as he can. He's only going to get 1 yard when they needed 6.
This will be interesting. Leominster with great field position. If they push one in again, it's going to be tough for Fitchburg to come back.
Was Josh Cormier, the senior, who ultimately brought Bolak down.
You know, if I'm Leominster here, I try to go for the home run.
Try to stamp your foot down with authority.
Yeah.
We've been impressed by the accuracy and poise of Osiris Lopez, their freshman quarterback. He hasn't really thrown it deep. Might be a good time to try it.
Got a couple solid receivers in Aguilar and Encarnacion.
Second charge timeout, Fitchburg.
Fitchburg will call their second timeout with 11:14 to go in the second quarter. Fitchburg 6, Leominster 21.
Yeah, good call by Fitchburg. They know this is a crucial situation. They need a stop.
I also had a little bit of confusion on the defensive side of the ball. Johnny El Silvestri was just running onto the field right as that timeout was called. Guys, while we have a second here, I want to send a shout out to our good friend and broadcast colleague Mike Flynn, who's decided he's not going to be calling very many games, if any, this season, but obviously our thoughts are with him. If he's watching, shout out to Mike. Always a pleasure to have him back in the booth. And no offense to you, Bob, but Mike is always welcome here.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just filling in because Danny thought you may be stuck on the Mass Pike. So I volunteered to come up here and help him out a little bit.
And I am fantastically happy to meet you. I've already forgotten your last name because I'm a terrible person, but it's very good to meet you.
I'll give you my card before I leave.
Those are fellow Bernardian alumni also speaking there. On first down, end around taken by the Blue Devils, and a lot of yardage going out to the far side of the field. It's Braden Martin, the junior running back, getting big yardage in his first carry of the season.
Inside the 30.
To the 29-yard line he goes. A 19-yard run. That's a good first impression, I do say.
I should say so.
Leominster continues to push the tempo, again averaging 14 yards a play right now. The defense has just not been there for the Red Raiders thus far. The Blue Devils have looked nigh unstoppable.
I don't know if it's load management for Newton or if they're just trying to cycle in new players here at the start of the season, but Braden Martin is the running back right now.
He'll stay in there. Another high snap. Lopez, bit of time, wants to look downfield, looking for the end zone, looking for Drinkwater, and he's got him. Touchdown, Blue Devils.
Nice throw, nice catch.
Caden Drinkwater, his first career catch is a touchdown for the Blue Devils.
Classic pump and go, Bob. They looked like they were going to throw the quick screen pass to the far side on Encarnacion. Encarnacion has been the focal point of the entire offense. Were we just wondering if Osiris Lopez had that deep ball in him?
Yeah, well, obviously he does. It was a toss-up, and the receiver wrestled the ball away. I'll tell you, Leominster just loves playing here at Crocker. Between last Thanksgiving and tonight, they put on an offensive display for the ages.
These are two freshmen hooking up there on the most recent touchdown.
Gotta be offside.
Extra point is blocked, but you say there's offside.
Offside,
There is a flag on the field.
That would actually be the first penalty of the game. Which would probably explain why the kick would be blocked. Our referee, Bill Goslin, will have the call.
Offside, 77 defense. Half the distance to the goal, replay the try.
They call it on Anthony Ortiz, but I don't think he was the only guilty party. There were a handful of those brick-colored jerseys in the Leominster backfield awfully quickly.
Yeah, they stormed in from the left side.
So with that, they're going to try to kick the extra point still, just from a yard closer. Thompson already 3 for 3 on his extra points tonight. Puts it down, kick is up, and it is good. 10:01 to go, second quarter. Blue Devils lead 28-6.
Guys, I know we're here on Fitchburg Access Television, and we've got a couple of Fitchburg State alums or St. Bernard's alum.
Fitchburg State as well.
Fitchburg State as well. One of us may or may not be wearing a red shirt and gray pants and a red and black tie right now, but my point is, from the Leominster side, it's been a tough few seasons for the Blue Devils, right? They've been struggling the past few years. Their head coach, Devin Gates, in his 4th season has a 9-17 record as head coach of the Blue Devils. It may be a little bit early to say this, but I feel like the Blue Devils have found their quarterback in Osiris Lopez. He has been very impressive.
They have a deep team. I'm impressed.
If they can roll 3 solid receivers there in Encarnacion Aguilar and Drinkwater with a great running back like Makai Newton, holy cheese balls.
Their execution is really, I don't know if it's a matter of Fitchburg's defense being really weak, but the Leominster execution is pretty impressive.
Yeah, obviously, it's only barely a quarter of football. You can't start, chiseling the Super Bowl trophy for the Blue Devils yet or anything.
Nope, absolutely not.
Very impressive first quarter. I'm sorry, Dan.
Last drive for Leominster, 2 plays, 48 yards, a minute 13 seconds. Bounced and picked up at the 16-yard line by the Red Raiders and brought back to the 30-yard line, and bringing that up was Joshua Nardi. Trying to make the run upfield, and just closed up at the 30. It's not bad field position, but obviously at this point the Raiders need every break they can get. 9:52 to go in the second quarter. A big lead. And for the Raiders, they're starting the season with a very tough schedule, as they've got Wachusett next week, St. John's in 3 weeks, and Shepherd Hill's no slouch in the middle of that.
That's pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Raiders scored on their opening drive, haven't found the success since. This is their 4th drive of the contest. Of course, the Blue Devils now 4 for 4. Bolak wants to have time to pass. Gets it off and nearly picked off there. As with the pressure there, Josh Cormier had it fall out of his hands.
Second time tonight, Bob, that we've seen Bolak have to get rid of the ball quickly under pressure.
Did somebody hit his arm on that? Let's see the replay here. Well,
he was
tackled. He was hit as he threw it, yeah. He's been under a lot of pressure.
Indeed he has.
He's had to tuck it and run a few times, a couple of times anyway.
Very nearly found its way into the arms of either Josh Liebert or Makai Newton.
We know Bolak has not had the time to really pass. He's 2 for 5 tonight. This time a carry to the left side. He's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage, it looks like. Good pressure again by Leominster.
This was pretty similar to the play Fitchburg ran on their 4th down conversion back on their first possession. Looked like it was an option to the near side left. Bolak decided to keep it himself, and he really didn't get anything.
They give him no gain on 2nd down. Brings up another 3rd down. Fitchburg is 2 for 4 on 3rd down tonight. And really could use a conversion here. Bolak with a bit of time throws near side, and it's incomplete. A diving catch attempt made by Nardi. He's not able to close his hands on, even if he caught it, it would not have been a first down as he is at the 35-yard line.
Now, if the Red Raiders have a punter, we're about to see him. I can't imagine they would go for it here. 4th and 10 at their own 30.
I believe from what I saw in the warm-ups, I think it was Silvestri who was practicing the punting game, and it looks like it is Johnny L. Silvestri who was standing at the 15-yard line or thereabouts.
They're messed up. They're taking the timeout.
They only have about half a team on the field right now.
3rd and final timeout of the first half, Fitchburg.
9:02 to go in the second quarter. The Red Raiders not only trail by 22 points, they're out of timeouts.
Fitchburg had one player hurry onto the field right as that timeout was called. Do you know how many players that gave them on the field at the time the timeout was called, Dan?
8?
9.
9.
Last I checked, you need 11.
Just total discombobulation.
A little disorganized with some of the special team stuff.
But you know, that's to be expected.
Right,
Take a look right here. You've got 3 guys on the line, 3 guys immediately behind them. Silvestri back in the backfield is 7. 1 guy split out to the near side is 8. I think they had 1 more come out. This is one of those I need a telestrator moments, but you folks at home can count. They're the guys wearing red. There's only 8 of them.
This is the 23rd consecutive season that we've requested a telestrator?
I think so. Okay, the Red Raiders are coming out of a timeout. They have 10 players on the field.
Yes, they do.
The 11th is just coming out now.
There in Devani DeLeon. So again, Johnny L. Silvestri is back to kick it for the Raiders. Not a great snap, but he does get a solid kickoff.
Yep.
Blue Devils are going to stay away from this one and let it roll to the 32-yard line.
And there's a flag thrown by the referee behind the play. Mr. Goslin was rather aggressive with his tossing of the hanky there.
We'll see what he's got.
Personal foul, number 17, Fitchburg. 15-yard penalty being forced. First down, Leominster.
Shea Gagnor is the guilty party. We'll see if we can spot him here. He's number 17, right in the middle of your screen. Keeping an eye on him. Moving to the right side of the screen now. Now he lowers his shoulder. He's being blocked. I'm sure that something's going to happen. I'm increasingly less confident that something's going to happen. I didn't see anything, Bob, did you?
No, but the official was Johnny on the spot, so I'm sure he had it correctly called.
May have been words.
Could have been.
Yeah, that's a tough penalty. I mean, you just don't want to shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak, you know.
It does set up the Blue Devils in Fitchburg territory. 1st and 10 for them at the 47. They already lead this one by 3 scores.
So 47 yards from goal. Another high snap. Lopez, no trouble pulling that down. Has some time. He's going to scramble and run forward. And he's going to be spun down at the 43-yard line, a gain of 4 yards on first down.
I think they wanted to go for the home run ball there. It just wasn't developing. Rather than chuck it deep and see what happened, Lopez decided to take the gain in front of him.
Yeah, Leominster has been very aggressive. I think that's a good call. You take over on down. You take over after the punt and go for the home run.
So 2nd down it comes, and 6 to go. Leominster with 2 to the far side, 1 to the near side, 1 to the backfield. Lopez, quick throw out to Encarnacion. He's able to make the catch, get out of the tackle of one Red Raider, and still makes his way on his feet. Ricky Encarnacion is inside the 20-yard line, down at the 15, and it takes 2-3 Red Raiders to pull him down.
It looked like Isaiah Jeffries was going to be able to bring him down, but Encarnacion was able to run away from him, get into the open field, pick up a
legal
big
block in the
gain.
back, number 52 of the offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
And that might be part of the reason why. Now you see Johnny L. Silvestri hobbling off the field, favoring that left leg. will make it to the sideline and then collapse. We'll see if we can spot the block in the back here. I think it comes right there at the top of the screen.
Correction, that'll be a first down, Leominster.
Delmar Wright is the guilty party. But Bob, because they assess 10 yards from the spot of the foul, it's still a first down for Leominster.
Correct.
So we'll get a first down, and they're going to spot the ball at the 37-yard line. So it'll be a fresh set of downs. First and 10, 7:34 to go, second quarter, 28-6 Leominster. With time, Lopez throws, tipped and incomplete. That might be his first incompletion of the night. Indeed it is.
It was deflected by Dominic Swain. I'm not entirely certain he was intending to throw it to Swain, but he was the closest man wearing white. We'll take a look at it again. Yeah, it had to be going for Swain.
Sure.
It was just a little bit high, a little bit behind him. First real inaccurate ball of the night, thrown by the freshman Lopez. I feel like a broken record for saying high snap on every down for Leominster, but they really do snap it high.
It's on second down. Quick run out to the left side, and some yards gained by Mackay Newton.
You know, when they snap it right at his chin, he really gets the ball ready in a quick throwing motion. You know, it's not the worst thing to snap it at that level.
Put it right on the 30-yard line. Brings up third down. Again, the Blue Devils haven't faced third down very much. They're 1 for 1. Again, the Raiders are desperately, in the strongest possible terms, looking for a stop. But Newton in the backfield, he's going to take it on third down. Just trying to get around the Red Raiders. He's able to do that and get to the 20.
Yep.
And he's pushed out of bounds just short of the 15.
That's another play where they looked initially like Fitchburg was going to wrap him up in the backfield. Harvey Early, I believe it was there in the backfield. But Mackay Newton was able to run around him, pick up the first down, and a lot more. As we approach the halfway point of the second quarter, Leominster knocking on the door. Take a look at this one, Bob.
Nice little change of pace there.
I really do see a lot of Anthony Aquendo and Mackay Newton, especially this season. He's really found a second level, or yet another level, I should say, to his running game.
Nice
Quick throw on first down. That's going to be caught. Drinkwater again is going to have another touchdown.
Caden Drinkwater has to be thinking, man, this football thing is easy. I have 2 catches and 2 touchdowns.
Right. What's so tough about this? 2 for 2 and 2 TDs.
I got to tell you, Bob, when that ball was thrown by Lopez, I didn't see anyone there, but it was delivered perfectly for Drinkwater to make the catch right at his chest on a dead run. That's a beautifully thrown quick swing.
From our vantage point, we had a great angle on it. It was a thing of beauty.
We'll see if they go 5 for 5 on extra points. They will.
Yep, line grab.
5:56 to go, second quarter. Could you imagine 35 points for Leominster in so little time?
Well, we did think it would be a track meet, but track meets usually go up and down the field.
Yeah, this is bordering on ugly.
But hey, if you're a fan of the next town over, it's a pretty good night so far.
Yeah, Leominster just, between last Thanksgiving and this evening, Leominster loves Crawford Field.
Well, it's a beautiful, welcoming field, no matter.
Oh, no question.
And I do have to say, this is by far my favorite press box I've ever called a game.
It's awesome. Now, have you done a game at the Bernardian Bowl?
Yes.
That is old school.
That's one word for it. It's a very kind description. We'll be back at St. Bernard's later this season here on FATV.
Well, if some of the alumni like myself would step up the donations, they'd have a shot to maybe upgrade things. But we're a little tight, unfortunately.
I'm a carpetbagger from West Springfield, man. I'm staying out of this conversation.
Are you West Springfield guy?
I live in West Springfield now. I used to
Did
live
you
in
grow
Fitchburg.
up there?
No. I grew up in Marlborough. I've been all over Massachusetts.
Marlborough,
I did
okay.
used to live in Fitchburg, people at home. I have some excuse for being on TV right now.
Okay.
I lived in Fitchburg from 2004 through 2010. That sounds right.
Taking it at the 15-yard line. Something's happened here.
I believe he caught it on a slide and his knee was down when he made the catch. So they blew the play dead right there.
So was that time frame Fitchburg State situation?
Yep, I moved to Fitchburg right around the time I would have been graduating high school. Wound up going to Mount Wachusett up in Gardner, so I would walk down to the intermodal, take the bus out to Gardner every day for a couple of years, and then transferred to Fitchburg State. Fell in love with FATV, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since.
Wow, good for you. Good for you.
And you make a lot of long drives yourself, Bob.
I'll be driving back to the Cape tonight. I mean, you know my Thursday routine, Diesel. I'm on the lunchbox, the WPKZ lunchbox with Tony, a good part of the year. Referee a game usually on Thursdays.
On first down, throw out left side, incomplete as it goes through the hands of Medina.
So if it's any consolation, I refereed the Fitchburg soccer game today, and they did win over Quabbin Regional 7-0.
That's good. Good. Congratulations to the Red Raiders soccer team.
Yeah, they're off to a good start this year. Nice kids.
That's a boys soccer game.
Yes, up at the Game On complex. Yep, nice complex up there.
Yeah, they have really. I mean, I remember the Fall 2 season. Me and Gooks did a remote game, and the Red Raiders were. Quabbin was the better team in that game, but it's great to see how much the Red Raiders have improved.
They're doing a nice job, yeah.
So this brings up 2nd and 10 from their own 15-yard line. 5:48 to go in the second quarter, and a 29-point lead for the Blue Devils. Another quick swing pass outside is complete to Devani DeLeon, but my goodness, they had it read perfectly. Aguilar able to make the tackle for a big loss.
Bob, as this game goes on, I think Leominster is almost daring Fitchburg to beat them deep. You see them crowding the line of scrimmage, putting more and more guys in the box.
They're playing aggressively and very, very confidently.
Yeah, these option plays and quick passes out to the sidelines, they're not going to get it done for the Red Raiders. I don't think they need to. Even if it's not a completion, just to loosen up the defense a little bit, they've got to go downfield.
Right.
3rd down, 15 to go. Issues.
A lot of motion before the snap. Think it's going to be
offside. 64 defense, 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, that'll get back to 5 yards they just lost.
Henry Marte, the guilty party, the senior lineman.
So back to 3rd and 10. So we take under 5 minutes to go. Raiders 52 yards of offense on 23 plays. The Blue Devils, in comparison, 279 yards of offense on 20. Bolak with time, rolls to the right. Gonna have to use his evasiveness to get away again. And he finds one Blue Devil, knocks his helmet off in the resulting exchange. 5 yards for Luke Bolak on 3rd down. As coming off the field, hatless, is Giovanni Roman.
Good job, though, by Roman. He was pretty much matched one-on-one with Bolak in the open field. And we'll see here on the replay, he's able to get down, almost drag the quarterback down. Actually, no, excuse me, it wasn't Roman who made the initial hit, it was Xavier Cora. Good play by Cora out in the open field. Johnny L. Silvestri back on the field for Fitchburg. Saw him leave with a left leg injury earlier, so good to see him back out there. He'll be kicking it away.
Silvestri got a punt off. He's got another solid one off. Encarnacion back there. Takes it at the Raider 48-yard line. Now looking for space on the near side. He makes his way to the near side numbers at the 30. Gets out of a tackle. Still going at the 25. Reverses direction to the left. Now wrapped up at 3-4 Red Raiders. Taken down at the 25-yard line.
Bob, did you see about the middle of the field at about the 30-35-yard line, Johnny L. Silvestri was almost mounting a Blue Devil. I am amazed there wasn't a penalty flag.
Yeah, I noticed that. Do we have a replay on that? That drew my attention away from the run.
It was so far away from the ball,
right.
but Sylvester, I couldn't even see who he was with, but it started off as just blocking, and then they were engaged, and then it looked like it was getting violent for a second.
Yeah, did the referee get involved in that? I was taking my eyes, I was going back and forth.
I think if anybody wearing stripes saw it, it would be another 15 yards against Fitchburg.
Now out to the left side again, more yardage, and we saw this play work once to great effect, and again, it's Braden Martin finding his way on the far side for big yardage, and Leominster's threatening again.
It's got to be frustrating for Fitchburg. I mean, honestly, Dan, I can hear it in your voice. Leominster's threatening again. That same sentiment has got to be present on the Fitchburg sideline. But at the same time, you've got to maintain your composure. The worst thing you can do right now, if you're Fitchburg, is start handing Leominster yardage from 3 penalties.
Looks like they're 8 yards from goal. 5 for 5 already are the Blue Devils in scoring, trying to make it 6 for 6. Mackay Newton up the middle will get about 5 yards. They'll take him down around the 3-yard line. Again, the Blue Devils are threatening. And I'm still amazed at how much better the Blue Devils have gotten this season.
Red Raiders making a very late substitution.
Newton again tries to reverse direction, but he's wrapped up. 2 Raiders getting in on that one. It was Mateo Rivera and Antonio Santiago with the tackle to ward back Newton. Keep it at the 3.
You actually see right at the start of that play, Mateo Rivera jumps into frame. He was coming on the field so close to the snap. I'm a little surprised they didn't stop the play for unabated to the quarterback.
So here comes a 3rd and goal. Again, Newton in the backfield with Cyrus Lopez as the quarterback. And this time Lopez is going to try to keep it himself, getting to the 5. Loses the ball at the very end. Looks like it's recovered by Braden Martin. But 5-yard line is where it is with 90 seconds to go in the frame. What will the Blue Devils do on 4th down?
Tried a little razzle-dazzle there.
Harvey Early hopped off the field for Fitchburg. Minor injuries continue to pile up for the Red Raiders. You hope it's a minor injury, rather. Early was not able to put any pressure on his right leg. Clock continues to roll as we duck under a minute to play here. I think Fitchburg is going to be more than happy to get into the locker room here. So they're not, well, they don't have timeouts to call. I was saying they're letting the clock roll down. They don't have a choice. Leominster will take timeout.
First charge timeout, Leominster.
I mean, honestly, it's a question of, like, obviously it's a 29-point game. You're in a commanding position. Do you value getting your field goal kicker some extra experience, or are you looking at it from a field football perspective and saying, what's the worst thing that happened if we go for it here? Is Fitchburg really going to march 90-plus yards in 30 seconds with no timeouts?
No, I think Leominster will try to punch it in, and the field goal kicker can get plenty of work at practice.
It's already kicked 5 extra points tonight, so this one's not much longer than an extra point at that.
Correct.
Yep, 35-6, Blue Devils in front, 51.2 to go in the first half, 296 yards of offense for Leominster. Cyrus Lopez on debut, 8 for 9 for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leading receivers, Encarnacion, 5 for 60. Drinkwaters got 2 for 47 and 2 scores. Mackay Newton's got 9 carries for 115 yards. Those are some incredible numbers. This is probably the best half that Leominster has played in a very long time.
Oh, absolutely. This is more impressive than the Blue Devils looked on Thanksgiving.
Go with a full house formation, I think, on 4th down. Point, I'm not even sure who's going to take the snap. It's going to be Encarnacion, a high snap looking for all the blockers in the world, and they will open up the seas for a 6th Blue Devil touchdown.
It's almost a wildcat.
Yeah.
Very unique formation. As you said, Dan, the full house backfield, they had 3 guys lined up pretty much where a running back would be, almost where a fullback would be. And then Newton, a little bit deeper than your typical shotgun quarterback, takes the snap, finds a hole. Sorry, Encarnacion, not Newton.
They're all so dynamic. Snap down, point is up, point is no good, misses to the left.
41-6.
So let's just pretend he would have missed the field goal.
I think we found the flaw in Leominster's game. They only make about 83% of their extra points.
So again, 41-6, Leominster in front. Of course, that just ticked them over to 300 yards of offense in the first half.
My goodness.
It really has been a clinic.
That last drive, 5 plays, 23 yards, 2 minutes, 47 seconds.
Far side stands, plenty of folks in attendance. Leominster, unsurprisingly, travels pretty well when the game's in Fitchburg.
So, Danny, is this new software for tonight's game?
Yep, trying something different this time. Instead of my spreadsheet that I made by myself, I've had enough with its annoying tendencies.
Okay.
And so trying this old 10-year-old software.
Seems to be working out for you.
Yeah.
The important thing is it was free.
It was free. And of course, we don't have Sean Sweeney screaming stats at us anymore. Always appreciated Mr. Sweeney and the work he did.
So here comes yet another kickoff. They'll keep it on the ground. Try to go a little short to the 30-yard line. Taken in, going parallel, finds the 35 and a little more. That's Isaiah Jeffries, who's able to return that one. And we'll see what the Red Raiders can do with 35 and a half to go.
No timeouts.
I think that kickoff, Bob, was just Leominster trying to avoid kicking it deep and just minimize the big play potential for Fitchburg.
Yeah, 100%.
The only way Fitchburg has a prayer of getting back into this one is if they score in bunches and they get yards in chunks. So Leominster's going to be doing everything they can to avoid that.
I can't speak for the high school level, but I was doing some research and saw what is the largest comeback at the Division III level in a game. It's 33 points.
I see.
And they're behind by 35 with 24 minutes and 35 seconds worth of football to play. We'll see what the Raiders can do. On first down, it's Luke Bolak looking to hold on to it, try to make his way forward. But the hole's just not opening up. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and no more.
Well,
they'll have to hurry up with no timeouts if they want to get another playoff.
You've got to be thinking, if Leominster can do it in a half, theoretically we can do it in a half, right?
It's always possible.
In theory, yes. I think the clock's going to run out.
They are not interested in running another play. They took one try, didn't like it. Time will run at historic Crocker Field. 24 minutes of football in the books, and it's a half to remember for the Blue Devils of Leominster. The visitors lead 41-6.
There have been 141 of these first halves now. I think you would be hard-pressed to find one more lopsided than this.
This is the 141st game?
The 141st meeting of the rivalry.
Wow. Okay.
They've met over 115 times on Thanksgiving. Mr. Robbins, I think, would have the exact number off the top of his head. Mr. Robbins, I think, is a very happy man right now.
Now, do you think this will continue, this early September situation where they open up the season playing each other?
I certainly hope so. I enjoy it very much. This is, what, the third kickoff classic now?
Second. And they were going to try to do the start of the Fall 2 season, but then, well, only the JV teams ended up getting to play in that one.
Right.
But the thought that comes to my mind with how they're doing this and why they're doing this is simply because, you know, you play on Thanksgiving, it doesn't mean anything for playoffs anymore, but if you play in the first week of the regular season, you can bring that playoff meaning back into the fold and make the game all the more meaningful. But yes, the last 6 quarters here at historic Crocker Field have been a nightmare in 12/10 for the Red Raiders. Outscored now over that period by a margin of 73-6.
Bob, is that good?
Last year was a shutout, Dan?
Yeah, 32-0.
Wow, I knew it was a tough game. I didn't remember that it was a shutout. I was here last year and enjoyed it very much. It was a balmy Thanksgiving day. It
was a nice day.
Were you in the booth here
Oh,
with
yeah,
Danny?
Dan and I called the game.
Oh, nice.
I had some very mean things to say about the Raiders, as I recall.
Jeez.
I may have muttered something very angrily after one turnover. I was not impressed, and so just going over the stats here in the first half again. For the Raiders, Luke Bolak 3 for 8 through the air for 12 yards, and on the ground, he's got 10 rushes for 34 yards. Devontae DeLeon 7 carries for 11 yards. For the Blue Devils, mentioned Makai Newton's got 9 for 115. Braden Martin's got 2 for 34. 180 rushing yards for the Blue Devils, 122 receiving yards on 8 of 9 passing from Osiris Lopez. I think for Leominster, you couldn't have dreamed of a better first half. I mean, well, the only thing better would have been to shut out Fitchburg, but honestly, at this point, you get 41 in the first 24. I don't think you're going to be splitting hairs over that.
No. I think if you're coming from Blue Devil Nation and you're offered 41-6 at halftime, you take it every time. Maybe it could be better, theoretically, maybe. You'll take 41-6 at halftime. I think we will take the halftime break with the players as well. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will have the entire second half of action here from historic Crocker Field. It's the 141st meeting of the rivalry, and it's right here on FATV. Back here at historic Crocker Field, Leominster leads 41-6 in the 141st meeting of the rivalry. John Gugerty, Dan Bolak, and Bob, God, I didn't get his last name.
Bob Catalini.
Thank you. Mr. Catalini has decided to beat the traffic and head for the Cape, which honestly, I don't blame him. But we are here for the remainder, and the third quarter's underway.
High in the air, picked up at the 25-yard line. That's Harvey Early who's picked that up, trying to shake off a couple of tackles, make his way to the 34-yard line, a 9-yard return. And that's where the Red Raiders will start, on their own 34-yard line.
Fitchburg looked very good, Dan, on their first 2 possessions, but ever since the interception of Luke Bolak, Leominster's defense has been stifling, to say the least.
It's been just tremendously played by the Leominster defense ever since that interception. That was basically a backbreaker straight away, and Leominster has been in command ever since. We'll see what Coach Greg Graham has had to say to his team and what they can try to improve on here in the second half. Luke Bolak, again, out of the shotgun. He's got Devontae DeLeon to his right on first down. Takes the time to throw. That's caught by Early. And he's down at the 49-yard line, a first down straight away.
Dan, I said before the halftime break that Fitchburg needs to move the ball downfield. Even if they're not completed, just throwing these passes, loosening up the Leominster defense, it'll get chunks of yardage, it might get some points on the board, but it'll let the Red Raiders operate their offense. So it's incumbent upon Bolak on this drive to throw those 15, 20-yard passes.
Now handoff up the middle. It's Devontae DeLeon who's going to get it into Blue Devil territory.
3 yards and a cloud of dust has been the play on first down. That time it gained 4. Makes it 2nd and 6.
Now, under pressure, throw left side. That is complete. That one caught there by Stephen Bate. Gets maybe a little bit on that one, down at the Leominster 46-yard line. My software, which had been running so well, has decided just to get super angry at me now.
Of course. Well, we talked about how great it was operating, so. But once again, as you take a look at the replay here, Bolak under pressure, that has been the story of the day for this Fitchburg offense. That time he's able to deliver the little shove pass, gets it to Bate, doesn't get much. Fitchburg's about to get 5 free yards there.
Got him to jump.
I believe John Escabi is the guilty
number
party.
2 defense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
They called it on Makai Newton, but I don't think he was the only one. Take a look again here. You see right there's a couple of Blue Devils right on the line. Logan Arce and Mr. Escabi. who jumped over. Good hard snap cadence by Bolak, able to draw the Blue Devils off, makes it now 3rd and 1 for Fitchburg.
Just got to get 1 more yard for the first down. It's DeLeon to the right side. Can he get around the 1 man? He's going to make it close. Good pressure there by Leominster. It'll be good enough, though. Give him the yard, give him the first.
He does get the first down. You hate to question the decision-making, and on the replay, I'm not so sure. I thought watching it live that DeLeon would have had a better chance to beat Xavier Cora if he went to the outside, but he cuts upfield, gets the first.
Now another run up the middle. It's DeLeon again to the 37-yard line he goes.
Giovanni DeLeon has been the primary ball carrier for Fitchburg this whole night. Junior listed 6 foot even, 185. Now the Raiders mix it up.
Now throw over the middle is incomplete. Into a sea of only linemen, it seemed.
Looks like he was trying to hit maybe Harvey early. I think that was a designed, play action fake and then a quick screen pass, because the Raider offensive line just let the Blue Devils get all the pressure in the world. But Bolak might have gotten a little skittish in the pocket. He got rid of it too early.
3rd down, quick throw, right side, incomplete, but a flag.
There's a flag down on the far sideline. Might call a sideline violation.
We have a sideline warning against Leominster. That's their first of the game. It'll be 4th down.
So the penalty does not affect the play. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yep, you just said what I was going to say.
The play stands as happened on the field. Incomplete pass brings up 4th and 6, but the flag was thrown to remind the Blue Devils that that big white line means you guys are on this side and football happens on this side. And there can be interactions there, but they have to be strictly regimented. Respect the regimentation.
Finally caught up on the lives by stats now. It's 4th and 6. Try the hard count to draw him off. It's already worked a couple of times. Try it again. Look back to the plays. Back judge doesn't have his arm up yet, so they still have a couple more seconds. Time to work with now. Finally, we'll get the snap off. But the play action pulled them all in and now gets the first down. Luke Bolak past the 35-yard line.
I don't think that was ever going to be a pass. That was a play fake, look like you're going to chuck it downfield, invite the pressure, and then take off and run with it. Bolak under pressure immediately. He gets a couple of Blue Devils to jump as he looks like he's going to chuck it, and then he's just off to the races. Finally spun down at the Leominster 23.
Now stepping up, throwing down left field. Gonna need a one-handed catch out of Stephen Bate, but the pressure there, not able to allow him to pull it in. It'll be 2nd down.
Pretty good coverage by Brian Aguiar. Credit to Bolak for delivering a pass where only Bate had a chance at it, but it wound up being just beyond his receiver's grasp.
Raiders trying to manufacture a drive, try to get their 2nd score of the contest. Take it 1 drive at a time. As they trail by 35 points to their big rivals from the south.
Fitchburg needs to get points on the board, Dan, as this clock continues to tick down. We're going to start invoking the mercy rule if the score stands as it is.
They're going to need to find some points, but they're not going to be able to find anything on that, as half the Blue Devils come in to stop Giovanni DeLeon's progress. Going to be a loss of a yard.
Fitchburg cheerleaders haven't had much to celebrate yet, but the season is young. We will hear Mr. Touchdown before we are done here.
They got to play it once this time around, but they'd like to sing it a couple more times.
Did they play it? 'Cause
I wasn't paying enough attention on the first touchdown, I guess I could say.
Yeah.
3rd down, 11 to go. Luke Bolak, quick throw, left side, again, one-on-one coverage. And Josh Medina battling with Brian Aguilar. In the end, Aguilar comes up strong with the clean defense. Forces the incompletion in 4th down.
It was good, tight defense by Aguilar. There was plenty of contact between him and Medina as they were running downfield, but the official was right there, never saw fit to throw a flag. As just good one-on-one cornerback play by the senior.
Raiders will have to get to the 13-yard line for a fresh set of downs. 11 yards required on this play to keep the drive going. You can see the Blue Devils itching a little bit, trying to time their way to the line, trying to make their moment, wanting to burst into the backfield. It's a handoff. Devani DeLeon, going to say, has one of his best runs of the night, but he stopped just past the 20-yard line. That's not going to be good enough.
I think he ran into the back of his own blocker. It's a very interesting play call. 4th and 11, and they go just a straight handoff up the middle, trying to catch Leominster running the blitz. And actually, yeah, you see there, he runs pretty much right into the back of J.J. Casillas. And it's a turnover on downs for Fitchburg. And now, Dan, if Leominster is able to get a touchdown and an extra point on this possession, that, I believe, based on what you told me, engages the mercy rule.
Mercy rule is 42 after halftime or 30 after 3. And really, I think that's the goal for the Raiders right now, just try to avoid the mercy rule being invoked. Makai Newton gets the handoff on first down, trying to make his way to the far side of the field. He's gotten there. Now it's just trying to run up the sideline. But he's able to get a good chunk of yardage, nearly 10 on first down.
I think he's just a yard shy, but it's a good run for him. Harvey Early, we've called his name plenty of times tonight, was the man who knocked Newton out of bounds.
9-yard gain for Makai Newton. 124 running yards in this contest. 2 touchdowns. Encarnacion's got 2 touchdowns. Caden Drinkwater has 2 touchdowns on receptions. Cyrus Lopez, the freshman quarterback, takes the snap on 2nd down and 1. And Newton easily is going to get the 1 yard he needs. Fresh set of downs for Leominster.
Anthony Ortiz lost his helmet almost before he was hit on that play. You see him coming off now. And there's also a Blue Devil down. I believe that is Makai Newton.
One of 2 Blue Devils down on the field, the other one being Delmar Wright.
Newton obviously a huge part of the running game. Let's take a look at this again. Yeah, you see right there, big 77, Anthony Ortiz, gets his helmet ripped off almost before the play gets to him. And then a couple of Blue Devils having trouble getting up afterward. Both Makai Newton and Delmar Wright being assisted to the sideline.
Gets the 32-yard line. That'll be another first down for Leominster. That is first down number 14 for the Blue Devils.
Would not be surprised if that spells the end of the night for Messrs. Newton and Wright, even if they wind up being okay to continue.
It is a big lead right now. Leominster with a stranglehold on this one. Xavier Cora is in the backfield. He'll take the carry on first down to the left side. Raiders wrap him up at the 35.
I believe that's the first carry of the night for Cora. And I have to ask, Dan, what is it about running backs wearing number 5 and head coaches calling 3 yards in a cloud of dust on first down? Fitchburg's been doing it all night, and now here comes Xavier Cora. His first play, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
He's the 5th Blue Devil to get a carry tonight. And yep, keeping up with that theme, 3 yards. 2nd and 7. 2 on the far side for the Blue Devils. Shakes off the tackle there. He's going to get more than 3 yards this time. At the 45-yard line, finally spun down there by Bate. Make that first down number 15 for Leominster.
And Cora is slow to get up. Was thrown down very aggressively by Bate. Looked initially like he might have been hit in the backfield by Johnny L. Silvestri. You see Cora there grabbing at the back of his leg. Hopefully just a cramp or a hamstring pull or something like that.
Yep, the sentiment in the press box is that we're suddenly getting lots and lots of cramps now.
It's warm, it's humid. It's, first game of the season. A lot of young players might not be, properly hydrating, that sort of thing. You can lead a young freshman football player to water, but you can't make him drink. That's the old expression.
We'll have another look at the last play there for the Blue Devils. And yeah, that was
it's actually
Gagnor. That was the one who nearly had him wrapped up, just couldn't keep the grasp on, and then Bate spinning him down to the ground, and then it was that point Cora grabbing at the hamstrings, basically. He's a sophomore running back, 5'11", 180, and he'll make his way off the field.
Get to see a little bit deeper into the Leominster depth chart.
Is that really a bad thing right now?
Yeah.
I'd like to see who's next up for the Blue Devils.
Take another look at the end of this play. Cora does get spun down, and he lands right on his left knee. So there might be a little bit more than a cramp going on there.
They're going to bring Braden Martin back out.
Thankfully for Leominster and for him, he was able to get to the sideline on his own power, so hopefully he's okay.
Braden Martin reverses direction, goes to the right side, and nearly helmet to helmet there as trying to charge in there was Josh Nartley, but not after a solid gain there by Braden Martin on first down. The names are not sticking in my head at the moment.
We'll see at the end here, yeah, both Nardi and Martin lower their heads to deliver that big hit. That's dangerous, guys. I know you got helmets, but maybe don't do that.
Don't recommend it.
2nd down and 2 for the Blue Devils as they're now in Red Raider territory.
They go back to Martin, left side. He's got the first down, still continuing on. Finally pushed to the ground inside the 35-yard line. Let's make the chain crew work again.
Braden Martin is grabbing at his leg. And you see he's hobbling off now. Again, it has gotten to be, it's still a nice night, but I think it's officially, it's muggy now. Would it be fair to say that it's a little bit muggy at the moment, Dan?
It's up there.
The first game of the season, we're getting a little bit late. Weather's taking a turn. Drink your water, guys.
It's not going to come from the sky. New running back on first down for the Blue Devils. The most positive thing you can say about the carry there from Aramis Reyes is he was able to hold on to the football, and now more cramps. This time it's Giovanni Roman.
We've called Roman's name a few times tonight. He's had a good game. Unfortunately, he is the latest to fall victim to the hydration monster. While we have a moment here, we want to thank our crew tonight. Our director, of course, the executive director of Fitchburg Access Television, Mr. Nathan Blenny. Travis Falk running audio and graphics. Todd Govin on replay.
And I'll do the camera ops. Evan Schackenbach and Robin Como are upstairs, and Andrew Govin and Caitlin Mobilia are down on the field.
That's why you didn't let me do it. The sheet says Oliver, and I didn't know it wasn't. So that random lady who walked into the truck wasn't just stealing our pizza. That was Caitlin.
Yes.
I've met Caitlin. I didn't recognize Caitlin. I feel bad now.
She walked up to me and I didn't recognize her immediately either but as you know, my face recognition skills are awful.
Join me in feeling bad, Daniel.
And there we are here in the booth. There's not a one-person limit on this one this time around, but...
No, both of us feel bad.
So... we were talking about it a little bit during the first half. This is actually the only game in Massachusetts of high school football on this Thursday night. Last year, Fitchburg-Leominster was the only game in town, but there's already been at least one other game involving a Central Mass foe. Grand-Dunstable kicked off at 6 o'clock out in Tinksboro, taking on the Griffins of Greater Lowell. You may remember them as their hockey team. We called them the Griffin Vikings.
That makes sense. Or the Viking Griffins, if you prefer. How did that game go?
I actually have no idea.
Okay.
I just know that exists as a game.
Well, that's something. Something else that exists is tomorrow night here on FATV. We will be covering Monty Tech football.
We'll have the season opener, and it'll be another Blue Devil foe, the Murdoch Blue Devils, making their way down from Winchendon.
And for the Fitchburg partisans among us, and again, we're on Fitchburg Access Television, and you just saw that both Dan and I wore red for the Raider game, so you kind of know where our allegiances lie. Hopefully it won't be 41-6 Blue Devils with 4:33 to play in the third. Can we hope for that?
I would be very sad. So it looks like we're ready to get back to action as Ramos. It was Giovanni Roman who was helped off the field. As I'm getting my names crossed here, second down, and staying on his feet. It's Mackay Newton who leaps up into the air at that moment. Well, we saw him again.
We did indeed see Mackay Newton. He left with an injury earlier, and he appears to be slow to get up after this play. Actually, looked like he was going to be helped up, and he couldn't. It's a very athletic leap by Mackay Newton. But it may have had lasting consequences, as he will need to be helped to the sideline once again. We'll take another look at it here. It's another high snap. That's something that, you know, Devin Gates is legitimately going to want to work with his offensive line. And then you see right here at the end of the play, Newton leaps up into the air, he twists. Doesn't look like he lands terribly awkwardly, but, you know, that's the kind of motion, right, that you're not expecting to make if you're not fully stretched out or if you're not fully hydrated. That's the kind of thing where you can pull a hamstring, you can develop a cramp, that kind of thing.
So they will continue to tend to Mackay Newton. 3:55 to go, third quarter. Fitchburg 6, Leominster 41.
It doesn't sound any better when you say Fitchburg score first.
Trying to do it the soccer way, if you will, the Commonwealth way, the British way. I get a lot of my influences from British broadcasters.
I see. I have no Queen Elizabeth material prepared.
I do not either.
We're American, though, so we don't have to send condolences or anything, right? I mean, I know they lowered the flag at the house, but we don't have to. We fought a war that said we don't have to, right?
It's like, it's not compulsory, but we can do so if we so desire.
It would be nice. Okay, fine, it would be nice. On behalf of everyone here at Fitchburg Access Television, we send our condolences to the royal family of the United Kingdom. Did I sound sincere enough?
Good enough.
Okay.
So we hope Mackay Newton's all right, because he's been one of the cogs that has made the Leominster machine operate tonight. Gained 2 yards on that last play, brings up third down and 11 to go.
Newton, unfortunately, having to make the long walk to that far sideline.
See a solid crowd on the Leominster side.
And it's a good crowd for the Fitchburg side, too. And to be honest, Dan, most of them are still here.
Yeah.
Very few people have decided to get out of Dodge and beat the traffic here.
It's the first time they've seen this team in shade over 9 months. They would like to see their side again. And it'll be a couple weeks before the Red Raiders are back in action at home. Another high snap. It's Encarnacion on the end around, and a burst of speed on the left side. Going to get on the first down, but now going backwards. How does progress get spotted here?
I think he was definitely past the sticks, but then he got driven back and turned back upfield. I believe they're going to mark forward progress at the Fitchburg 24, which would be a full 2 yards shy of the line to gain. And would you believe it, there is a player slow to recover. This time on the Fitchburg side, it's Harvey Irwin. See him stomping out that left foot. I'm sorry, Dan.
Second time tonight, I think.
No, that's at least the fourth time I've stepped on you.
We're working on it.
I would say first game for everyone, but it's our second game.
So Leominster's going to run the clock down just a little bit and take a timeout with 2 minutes.
First charge timeout of the second half, Leominster.
And 2 minutes and still counting. So we'll get that clock stopped.
That's all right.
So Leominster calls the timeout there.
I believe this is the, no, this isn't the first fourth down Leominster's faced today, is it?
Give me a moment, and I can tell you that they are 2 for 2 on fourth down, apparently.
Okay. But this would be the first stop, you know, obviously 2 for 2 on fourth down, so Fitchburg has not stopped Leominster once. They've had 6 possessions. This is their 7th, and they have 6 touchdowns.
They do. And once again, a reminder, you can watch FATV programming in high definition. Look at all the options you have. Streaming apps on your television, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, or on your phone. We have apps on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Plus, there's always the good old-fashioned, and I can't believe I'm calling this old-fashioned. You can just go to fatv.org and find the education stream. You can do that too.
You can watch that on your PC there. There are so many options.
If you live in Fitchburg and have cable, you can watch us on TV.
Comcast 9, Verizon 36 we're on tonight. Encarnacion on the direct snap is going to get the first down. And it'll be down inside the 15-yard line.
Feels so quaint, television. But, you know, it's what we're doing here, so.
Fun bit of inside baseball with this program. I learned this doing some testing in that this program hates number 0.
I see.
Hates it, hates it, hates it. So Encarnacion's 99 in my book.
Fair enough.
By the way, that's actually become a legal number this season. Yes, it was technically illegal last season. People got jerseys already. Nobody wants to put them to waste. Nobody was going to enforce that rule. Besides, college had already made 0 legal anyway.
Okay.
Those are my justifications and excuses. Leominster needed to get another running back on the field there in Reyes. And bad snap there for Leominster. Lopez goes and recovers it. Now will just try to throw it downfield. That worked out well enough. Found a receiver past the line of scrimmage.
Second time tonight that Osiris Lopez has averted absolute disaster with a snap going over his head. The first wound up in a negative 12-yard completion. This time he has enough presence of mind, even after struggling to gain control of the football. He's got enough space to where he can roll out to his left, and I'm pretty sure he intentionally delivered that pass a little bit low for Braden Martin. So it falls incomplete. And instead of a big loss or perhaps a turnover, Blue Devils retain possession.
Just his second incompletion of the night. So we're under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Reyes with the handoff and able to shake off a couple tackles, still on his feet inside the 5-yard line. First and goal coming for the Blue Devils.
Fantastic second and then third effort for Aramis Reyes, the sophomore running back. See him breaking through tackles here. Here he almost looks like he was grabbed by the horse collar, and he still plunges forward. Gets a first down and more. And then once again, we will stop the clock for a couple of what appear to be cramps. This time it's on the Fitchburg side. I believe that's Shea Gagnor who is down and being attended to.
So the third quarter, we've had no scoring yet, but we've had millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of cramps.
That's true.
Stat everything but the cramps, I will say.
I believe the cramp total is at least 6.
6 or 7.
That sounds right.
High numbers.
Gagnor has been all over the place tonight for Fitchburg. He's been doing place kicking, kicking off. He's been a stalwart on defense as well. We've called his name a number of times. Unfortunately here, being attended to, it does look like, again, a cramp or a hamstring pull. So hopefully not too bad.
While we have a moment, should we thank underwriters?
Absolutely. We want to give thanks to our underwriters. Fitchburg Access Television's remote productions are underwritten by Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, UMass Memorial Health, Health Alliance, Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Minuteman Press, and the Sentinel and Enterprise. You see their logos on the screen right there. We send our thanks to them.
Indeed we do.
And of course, if you or your business would like to underwrite our coverage here on FATV, we absolutely welcome your support. You can go to fatv.org. Gagnor is up on his feet and jogging off to the sideline. That's good to see.
Now we'll get back to action. 94 seconds to go in the third quarter. Leominster this close to declaring mercy, or delivering a declaration of mercy, I guess. I don't like where I'm going with these sentences.
Invoking the mercy rule.
You try to get too fancy and this is what happens.
There you
Keep
go.
it simple. 2 yards from goal. First down. It's going to be Reyes, wrapped up by 2 Red Raiders and a third, and they'll stop it there. I think Brian Murillo was the first to arrive.
I don't know if you noticed it, Dan, but it almost seemed like there was an overcorrection on the snap that time. Usually these snaps have been very hard and very high above Lopez's head. That one was just a little flip. It was almost like the center was pitching it.
Definitely looked different, but that time the Blue Devil line didn't do quite enough there to give Reyes the support he needed. We go under a minute to go in the third quarter. Second and goal coming. No gain on first down. Encarnacion and Aguilar out to the right. Drinkwater out to the left. A really high snap. Able to pull it down. Is Lopez going to roll for it? Going to go out of bounds. Get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a loss of a yard.
Another busted play for the Blue Devils on the back of a bad snap. This time Lopez didn't have anybody downfield. He tried to take off and run with it. Good job by the Raiders, including Harvey Early. We saw him limp off earlier. So good to see him back out on the field.
Raiders just looking for 2 more stops. Shade under 31 to go in the third quarter in a 41-6 ball game.
I think the Blue Devils are going to go back to that Wildcat formation with Encarnacion as the ball carrier.
A bit of that full house again, and another really high snap. And Encarnacion's going to be able to haul it in and do not much more than that. That is Leominster's weakness. They cannot snap the ball with consistency.
That snapping game is a big problem for the Blue Devils. Once again, it's the third time tonight that a snap has hit the ground because it was over the intended recipient's head. It's at least how many times has Leominster had a quarterback have to jump for the snap? 15? 25?
It's a high number. It's something that they're going to have to improve on as we reach three-quarter time. No scoring in the third set of 12 minutes, and so the score remains the same, 41 for Leominster, 6 for Fitchburg, but Leominster's done enough to invoke the mercy rule, meaning once they start the clock, it's not going to stop.
And that, for folks at home who may not have seen before, that is the case even if Fitchburg was to reduce the deficit. If the Red Raiders get the ball back and score, that clock is going to continue to roll, correct?
Yes, it will.
So once it goes, we are 12 real-time minutes away from the end of this game.
So Leominster leads by 35 points, 41-6, and are now 7 yards away from the end zone after this snap that was not up to snuff. I remember years ago, Garrett Delachiaya, another former Blue Devil, it seemed like so often he would take high snaps when he was with the Falcons of Fitchburg State, and he could just pull them down like it was routine.
Well, Delachiaya was like 6'4". He was tall.
He had some height to him, and I think that last snap, Ricky Encarnacion is 6'2".
That's, yeah.
And he has to use all of his athleticism to ensure the Red Raiders aren't the ones ending up with that football.
Yeah, he had to leap and go full extension with his arm just to get a fingertip on that ball. So it's definitely something to watch. You know, for Devin Gates and the Blue Devils, obviously, anytime you come into Fitchburg and you put 41 points on them in the first half, you feel good. It feels good. You had a good game. You got an easy, dominant victory on your first game. It's a fantastic feeling.
7.5-minute drive for the Blue Devils. Let's see how they finish it.
4th and goal for Leominster from the 6-yard line. They still with that Wildcat formation. Encarnacion's got a hole the size of Fitchburg through which to run. Touchdown, Leominster. That hole was wide open for him on the right side. Ricky Encarnacion takes it in. Makes this a 47-6 ball game.
Yes, on the direct snap, there's nobody there for Fitchburg.
Great blocking by the Blue Devil line. Opens a huge hole on the right side. Encarnacion walks it in. Extra point attempt is up and good. So with 11 minutes and counting to play, it is now 48-6 in favor of the Blue Devils. Call it 80-6 in total in the last 2 games between these teams here at historic Crocker Field.
In the end, you can only be impressed about how good Leominster has been. You know, they graduated some talent, but they brought a lot of talent back. They definitely brought back more talent than the Red Raiders had. And it's like the youngins. As we said, Cyrus Lopez, the freshman quarterback, and Caden Drinkwater, the freshman receiver, have already shown tremendous promise. I'm even reminded, you know, back in 2018, it was Caden Constant as a freshman who led the Blue Devils to victory on Thanksgiving, that bitterly cold night at Doyle Field that Wednesday. And so it's not without precedent that the Blue Devils can be led by a freshman signal caller, but they're going to be dangerous for years to come if this is what they've got right now.
Cyrus Lopez is a very promising quarterback, and especially for this season, he just, as you said, Dan, has so much talent around him in Encarnacion, in Newton, in Aguiar, those seniors. You throw in contributions from the freshman Drinkwater. We've seen plenty from Braden Martin, who's a junior, and that tremendous offensive line for the Blue Devils. Leominster could be a team to watch this year. Thompson's kickoff is a little bit short. It's going to bounce just shy of the 25, be picked up from a dead stop there. Bounces through 1 tackle and spun down at about the 42-yard line is Joshua Medina. Another good return for him. Aside from that first drive, Dan, Medina has really been the most explosive part of Fitchburg's offense.
I think that's the first kickoff he's had since that very first kickoff, too. So they haven't been kicking to him. But when Medina can get the football, he can run for some distance. Got 17 yards on that run back. And gives the Raiders good field position. Really, again, just 1 drive at a time.
Red Raiders have made a change at quarterback. It's Niall Sim, the junior, number 7 on your program, who will come in to play out the rest of this game. He's got Dakota Wells set up to his backfield. Red Raider offense wants a timeout. Finally, Silvestri comes out onto the field. No, he'll be replaced by an offensive lineman. Fitchburg can't possibly get themselves set. Now they do. And Sim has trouble with the snap. Tries to keep it himself under pressure, and he's going to be German suplexed by Keegan Sorry, I'll try that again. By Keegan Amarasine. I got it on the second try.
Keegan Amarsing.
Dang it.
You didn't have the chance to go over the pronunciations pregame. Well, that's a 6-yard loss.
It's a big play nonetheless for the Leominster defense. Sim takes the snap on second down, handoff to Wells running to his left. He's hit at about the line of scrimmage, plunges forward for a gain of 3. Credit Aiden Keys, the freshman, with the tackle for the Blue Devils. It'll be 3rd down and about 12, let's say, for Fitchburg. Again, Niall Sim, the junior, is in as quarterback for the Red Raiders. It will be Sim, play fake on 3rd down, under pressure, rolls to his right, just gets rid of it in the vague direction of Harvey Early, but it was well short of him, incomplete. It'll be 4th down.
Trying to go with that quick up-tempo offense. Just trying different things, different looks. No better time than now.
See there, Lucas Bolak offering some mechanical advice. But Sim's offense goes 3 and out. The Red Raiders will kick it away. Johnny L. Silvestri on to punt.
Clock will continue to run. We said we're less than 7 minutes away from the completion of this football game.
That is true. Raiders have had a lot of confusion with personnel tonight, and that continues here. Finally getting 11 players on the field. For extra credit, they can even get 11 players set, maybe. Maybe. Finally, they get the snap off. Silvestri with a pretty good punt. Spiraling kick taken in on the run at the 30-yard line. Decent return, back to about the 41 of the Blue Devils.
Donius Gebru with the return for the Blue Devils.
And we'll see what the Blue Devils elect to do with their remaining 6 minutes here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some backups from Leominster. But at the same time, I do still see Encarnacion and Aguiar out there, so.
Think they're going for 50?
Could be. It's Leominster or Fitchburg, man.
Yeah. You know, Fitchburg got a late touchdown last year in the kickoff when, it's like, for power rating purposes, to get that 14-point lead when they probably could have kneeled it down. So maybe Leominster wants to just get a little extra if they can get it. 59 yards from goal are the Blue Devils. Looks like Aguilar's going to play quarterback. He had some experience at that position last year.
I was trying to figure out who it was, but it is indeed Aguiar as the quarterback. Motion before the snap, and they stopped. Well, I would say stop the clock. They throw a flag for an offside. False start, rather.
54 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Logan Arce is the guilty party. Feels like he's made a bit of an Arce of himself there. See there, Arce lined up as the left tackle, jumps about a little bit at a half step too soon. So it's now 1st and 15 for Brian Aguiar. Handoff goes straight up the middle. Aramis Reyes, nothing fancy, doesn't get much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. We'll call it 2nd down and 15 for the Blue Devils.
That's all they'll give them. Clock continues to tick as we approach 4 minutes to go in the game. Just the run up the middle, not doing very much there.
Harvey Early heads to the sideline once again for the Raiders. Looks like this time he's favoring his right arm. Shea Gagnor back in the game. He'll take over for him on defense.
Players getting banged up, but fortunately nothing serious.
2nd down, Reyes' carry. This time he gets a big hole. He's hit at about the 38 and driven backward. Takes an entire pirate ship full of Raiders, but they finally bring him down. I think it was Gagnor who made the initial hit. He comes out hobbling, but it looks like he's going to try to stay on the field at least. Credit Ali Coheel with the hit as well. It'll be 3rd down and about 8 for Leominster as we approach 3 minutes to play here at the Kickoff Classic.
Leominster 11 yards away from 400.
So some nice big round numbers for them to play for.
We're going to run this down and let timeout be called because they're nowhere near snapping the ball, and that's another thing too.
Second charge timeout, Leominster.
Leominster could hypothetically just call both their timeouts and end the game because the clock will continue running even during timeouts.
They could. I think they still need to get 1 more first down, if I'm doing my math right. I don't know. It's late. I'm tired.
Yep, I don't know if the NFHS rulebook lets you call consecutive timeouts without a snap.
There's that also.
I know that the NFL rulebook, of course, does not allow it. The NCAA rulebook does allow it.
I believe they call that the Joe Gibbs rule. Not because he inspired it or anything, but because he humorously broke it.
Cost him a ball game.
Yeah. Nothing like a present NFL Hall of Fame head coach who literally does not know the rules of football.
He was too busy running his NASCAR team.
That's fair. What's Tony La Russa's excuse? Because he's a present Major League Baseball Hall of Fame manager. Absolutely does not know how to manage anymore. I follow too many White Sox fans on Twitter, apparently. 3rd down and 8 for the Blue Devils. They need to get just into Fitchburg territory to keep the ball. Across the 45, plunging forward to the midfield stripe is Aramis Reyes. Very close to the line to gain is he. I think they're going to spot him. Actually, they're going to spot him a full 2 yards shy at the Leominster 49. He needs to get to the Fitchburg 49. I think we need to run at least one more play or call one more time. One of those. Blue Devils need absolutely no hurry, so they're going to take as much time as they can. It's actually the Raiders who call timeout.
Well, that's going to end the game.
Pretty much, yeah.
Second charge timeout, Fitchburg.
Because the Raiders take timeout, and then any time after 40 seconds, the Blue Devils take timeout, and they are just, the teams are already lining up. They're content to walk this one out.
I mean, timeout's 90 seconds, so.
We're done playing football here tonight, guys. It has been a night to forget if you're a Fitchburg fan. After a very disappointing performance back on last Thanksgiving, you come into a new season with the same opponent on the same field and lay the same egg, pretty much. But for Leominster, a triumphant victory, 48-6, the final score here at the second kickoff classic from historic Crocker Field. Dan, just a dominant victory for the Blue Devils.
It was just perfection personified for the Blue Devils. They had 7 drives of note, and they had 7 touchdowns.
The 8th one only ended because they ran out of clock.
Yep.
A dominating victory for Leominster, rather. A tremendous start to the season for them. Devin Gates' boys have a very promising outlook. And on the other side for Greg Graham and Fitchburg, it's only one game. That has to be the message for the Red Raiders. It's only one game. But as you said, Dan, the Red Raiders have a very difficult task at the start of this season.
Indeed, we go over the final numbers. Leominster finishes with 395 yards on 44 plays. That's 9 yards a play. And as we mentioned, 7 touchdowns for them. For the Red Raiders, they finish with 40 plays, 96 yards. Not the efficiency you're looking for, 2.4 yards per play. Leading players, so we look at the Blue Devils, and obviously Mekhi Newton, 12 carries, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Braden Martin had 4 carries for 57 yards. Ricky Encarnacion, 6 for 37, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And then through the air, he also had 5 for 60. Caden Drinkwater had those other 2 touchdowns on 47 yards of catching. And for the Red Raiders, we'll go over their numbers quickly. Passing, Luke Bolak finished 5 for 15 for 28 yards. Did find that 1 touchdown strike to Josh Medina in the first quarter for the lone score of the contest. Harvey Early had 2 catches for 23. DeLeon, a catch for -5. Stephen Bate, 1 catch for no yards. Bolak was the leading rusher for the Red Raiders as well. 11 carries for 47 yards. Devani DeLeon, 12 for 23. And, well, Dakota Wells, 1 for 4. Niall Sim, 1 for -6. And those are about all the stats that are fit to print.
It was a very promising start to the game for Fitchburg. They had a very successful first drive. They were able to get the ball into the end zone, and we thought that it was going to be a track meet. That's the term we used, up and down the field. Both teams, plenty of scoring. That turned out not to be the case. Leominster's defense was able to make the adjustments and contain Fitchburg's offense in a way that Fitchburg just was not able to do. Too much talent on the other side of the ball for the Blue Devils.
And really it came down to that interception by Encarnacion that we just forgot about there. That one interception, that really changed the complexity of the game, because from that point, Fitchburg really struggled to get their offense rolling, and Leominster just continued on. One thing I do want to compliment, though, is penalties were few and far between in this contest. Only 6 accepted penalties from my count.
We'll take that.
Yeah, for 41 yards between them. And, you know, at the end of the day, the two teams, you know, they weren't at each other's throats. There wasn't that much anger and animosity coming through the air tonight. That's one of the positives we can take away when we've had some games in the past that have not ended in the most sporting of fashions.
No, absolutely, and that's been something, it's been a running theme over the past couple of seasons for Fitchburg, particularly when things aren't going well. It has been a theme for these Red Raiders for the past couple of years. When things go particularly poorly at the end of a game, especially at the end of a season, that's when you start to see the chippiness, the pushing, the shoving, the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, the stupid mistakes that, in addition to hurting your chances off the field, just make you look like a sleazeball off the field, right? We didn't see that from Fitchburg tonight.
And I think that's one of the positives. It did end up being more of a friendly rivalry tonight, but a one-sided matchup. Leominster winning 48-6. Look ahead to the next opponents for these two teams. For Leominster, they'll be at home at historic Doyle Field for the first time on the 16th.
Wait, full stop. Both fields get historic now?
I guess.
Okay, fine.
So they'll take on the Highlanders of Doherty, who the Red Raiders will have in Week 8 of this season. That'll be a 7 o'clock start. And for Fitchburg, they'll be traveling down to Howlane Field in Holden to take on the Mountaineers of Wachusett, led by a Division I to-be quarterback in Tucker McDonald. And yeah, that's not going to be any easier than this week was.
That's going to be a tough game for Fitchburg. Their next home game here will be Friday, September the 24th, I believe.
No, 23rd.
Nope. 23rd. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong schedule. Friday, September 23rd, they take on Shepherd Hill. That'll be right here on FATV. But of course, again, tomorrow night, right here on FATV, Dan and I, well, definitely Dan, hopefully I, probably I. Let's say Dan and I and be optimistic, right? Dan and I will be at Monty Tech as the Bulldogs take on another set of Blue Devils.
We'll see if the Blue Devils can go 2 for 2 on FATV or if the Bulldogs can claw one back.
We will find out then. One more time, let us thank our tremendous crew and our underwriters, starting with our director, Nate Glennie, Travis Falk doing audio graphics and everything else, Todd Govan on replay, camera operators, Evan Schockenbach, Robin Como, Andrew Govan, and Caitlin Mobilia. Thank you so much to all of them. Also, Jared Roberts was here. Jared actually designed the lovely graphics that we use coming into our replay, so thank you to Jared for that. Would you like to thank the underwriters one more time before we get out of here?
Yes, we can. Our underwriters who help make all of our remote productions possible: Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, UMass Memorial Health, Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, North End Subaru, Unitil, Minuteman Press, and the Sentinel and Enterprise.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us here for the first Red Raider game of 2022. There will be plenty more to come. We will see you tomorrow night from Monty Tech right here on FATV.